Hey guys, so basically I'm making this video because I've had a few people asking me how they can get faster at 11x11 or 17 or whatever bigger cubes, and it's always taken like a long time to write an explanation of how exactly what to do, the centers and edges and blah blah blah. So I figured I'd make this video of an example solve of the 11x11, since 11's like one of the smaller bigger cubes, but it's like kind of in between. And it's really smooth for me. I like the 11x11. So I know the color scheme isn't great. I've been thinking about getting the one with the red on it and the darker blue, but that's probably for later. I might get that for the 8 and 9 first, since I don't like the MFJS versions. At least the ones I got, they don't suit me. I mean, I do like the size, but they pop way too easily, and the layers are a little sticky. So anyway, I think I'm not gonna do I don't know if there's any way to generate a scramble. I don't want to follow that, so I'm just gonna scramble it randomly and try to follow along as best you can, and I'll try to explain as much as I can. Okay, so I think we have it scrambled. My hands are freezing. Okay, so the first thing I look for, first of all, you notice I always go blue on bigger cubes first, because when I started Rubik's Cube, I always started the blue face, and I like to do blue or green, but when it comes to bigger cubes, I go with what I see first, and I always see blue more than anything else, so I would go white, because most people go white if it's because white is what they see first, and I can understand that, but my mind always says go to blue, and so if I'm like forgetting what I'm doing, I start doing like greens the next one, and then it screws me up. So I always start blue with bigger cubes, like 10 by 10 and up. 9 by 9 sometimes I'll start with a white or whatever center, but since that's the case, I'm going to do what I always do, I'm going to start with blue. And instead of going for a line, maybe you've noticed that I always go for like a 5 by 1, and I work by doing 5 by 1. So this I came up with before I even started. Before I even got the 10 and 11, I decided, or even the 9. Well, that's not true. Well, yeah, it is true. I decided that, well, I always did Gabasoft, and I would do cubes up to 20. I've done 20 before. And I would do something like, I'd do a 3 by 1, and then another 3 line, get that one, like it were a 5 by 5 first, and then you want to get one of these, and then make it into a 7 by 7. But that's, it's kind of slow, just building up 3 by 3 to 5 by 5 to 7 by 7 to 9 by 9, so I thought there's going to be a faster way than that. So I was thinking, what is the... You could extend that, saying like, we'll do it with white for example. It's easy to make 7 by centers, right? So, which is a 5 by 1 line. And you can see them, even when on bigger cubes, you can see them pretty easily. So there's another 5 by 1 line. So that's what I decided to do, is make 5 by 1 lines extending across the whole center. So I'll scramble it again. So what I decided to do is try that out, and it actually worked pretty well, for a look ahead anyway. With 11, I hardly ever pause to do centers. So let's start in this case. This is a pretty, I wouldn't say this is a pretty good case for blue, but I've got this here that needs 2 more. I've got this that needs 2 more. Nothing else really. I can use this to put in here, and I can finish this right off the bat. Typically I like to finish the center one first, but in this case it's not really that easy. So I'll probably work, what I'll probably do is start working, getting 5x1 lines along the side here, and then when I happen to see two outer pieces here on the 5x1 line, I'll finish that. So what I'm going to do is bring this out away from here. I'm going to bring this one into this one, so I have that one line. I'll preserve it there. And now I've got to finish this one. I have that one here, and I know I don't have the other one here, but what I can do is preserve this right here, since it only has two left, by doing that. And I'm going to find it. So it's probably going to be in here, which it is. And then I'm going to insert it here. And I don't see anything for this right now, so I'm going to start doing whatever I see, which is basically this. So we got this outer one and the center one. And I'm going to look for this piece, which is here. And place it in there. And it's a kind of a toss-up what I'd actually do right now. Since I see this, I might go and finish the center line. This here. And then place this inside. Use this to almost finish that one, and then look for... It's not here, so I'm going to look up here. And bring that back and place inside. And now you can either build 5x1s and immediately insert them, because that does help bringing stuff out. And for example, bringing this out would definitely help with building this one. So I need one left there. And I can I could place this in and bring this out and then start this one. And I got the middle one there. Now I see this one, and when I turn to look for another piece, I see this one. So I'm going to bring this out like this. I see this and this, and this one here. Now I got one more, it's along the third center layer, so and then insert it. And what I would probably start with is something that goes along here, because I have this two chunk here. So I do something like and I have this chunk here and this one here. I forgot to mention that what I typically do, more than beyond 11, because 11 is easy to see, like you can tell that this is the like this is the fourth one, this is the third one, and this is the second one. So I typically label in my head as like, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. And the center, you just label as the center because, you know, it's pretty easy to see that's the center. So this would be like 3 on the right, and I complete the line. And while I'm completing that, I'm going to push this out. And normally I'll typically look in the back to see if I'm going to push anything out here, because I don't want to do that, but there's nothing here, so push that to the side here. Build this one. I'll put this one in too. 3 on the right, center, and I know that this was here because I saw that while bringing this second line up. I'm going to put that in. And what I see first is this here and this here. So I'm going to put 3 in, put this 3 in, and then take it out of the green side. This here, number 4 on the right, 4 on the left, and 2 on the right. And I'm going to be pushing this out, which I don't want to do, so I'm going to turn this like that, and then insert it. What I can do is put these together, like that, and then bring these two back. Number 1 on the left, or you can just think of it as the corner. 3 on the left, 4 on the right, and then 3 on the right. And then insert. So that's your first center. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Water. And then, you know, we can guess we're going to move on to the green. I have this lightning bolt thing here, which I can't really use unless, you know, I see this. I want to save this chunk there though. And then I kind of take it out while putting this in at first, and of course I'm going to have to turn it like that. I also see this here, which I want to use. So building the center line generally is better, because then you have a reference of what you want to do, and you don't have those pieces flying around on this side layer here. What I'd first do is probably either this, or if I saw this first, I'd do this. But actually, doing this preserves this chunk here, and I can actually insert this outer one, like that. And then I have this one that can go here, and then this one goes here, and place it here. I have this middle one that goes along the second line, this one. And I don't see anything right now. I do see one. That one. And I have this one here. I can also actually leave it there. Do the center one. I see this here. What I can do is put it together. And I'm going to bring this side out. And I saw this while I was doing that. So I'm going to just complete that number 2 one. Push to the side, and I have this 4 line there. Call it a 4 line because it's on the 4th layer of the center. Connect the outer, and there's the inner, the center one, and then bring it with this, so it's like preserving it. And I see nothing but 2. Put these 2 together, and I see this one while I do that, so I'm going to bring it out. I'll probably preserve this since I saw this, and then keep continuing the 3rd one. And I don't have to bring the center back because the center's free. I saw nothing here, so it has to be here. I'm not going to bring it in because it makes for a painful insert after, so I'm going to bring it together with this. I see the center here has to go in there, so bring it out, put it in, and bring it back, and then you can insert. So we have 5 lines right away, and we just need the 2 outer ones. So I have 2 here and 3 here on the left, which if I do a U2 I can insert, and then I'm gonna, since I have this here opposite this one, I'm probably going to look for this piece here, because it's a really fast 2 pieces insert. Got the middle one, I got 4 on the left here, and I'll insert it in, probably bringing this one out. Alright, I see number 3, I also see number 3 here. Since this is the bigger chunk, I probably want to do this. And then I see this one here, number 2. And I'm keeping in mind that this is here, and I'm going to bring it out eventually. But I see number 4 here. I have number 2 on the left that I need. And I have 2 on the right that I need. I mean number 1 on the right. So I'm going to bring this out with the R prime, F, U prime. And then I'm going to insert it. And probably insert it with slice moves, since I know I'm going to keep this here. And what I'll probably do is do a U2, and then insert also connecting this here, and then I'd probably bring this up, and then connect this one and this one, and I have this one too, and I have one on the right. I'm going to look for 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and that's here. And I'm going to insert. Instead of simply bringing this back down again, I'm going to do a U prime, or B prime, however you want to think about it. I got this chunk here. I can bring down into here. I got 1 on the left, which is going to push out 2 on the left. I'm going to put 2 on the left back in. And I don't even have to look at this line while I'm building this, because these are the only pieces left that are going to build this line. So I'm just going to simply keep putting those pieces in, and then insert. Alright, we have blue and green. What I typically do is yellow, since I've had a lot of practice with this. I did a lot of experimentation. Since these colors, well, if it weren't for these colors, I'd pick whatever color I want to do next. But when it comes to this pink and orange, which is hard to decipher, white is easy to tell in between. But when it comes to yellow, it's like all these become too bright, and the white is kind of neutral. So what I typically like to do is yellow when I build blue and green first. So I'm going to start with yellow. I got this chunk here. I actually could save it by using this. I could build this line here, and then turn it, and then start building the center line. And then brings back in, excuse me. I could put these together here. It's probably what I'd first think of. It turns out that I already built it, so I'm going to push this out of the way, preserve it. And then I have the center here, and I also have this other piece here, so I'll probably do that one first. Actually, I probably wouldn't do it first because I wouldn't see it first. Before inserting, I'm going to preserve this by bringing it here, then inserting. And then I see this chunk here. Push it in, and I'm also going to bring these two out. I see this here. And then the inner one. And what I'll probably do at this point is probably make the whole line, since I'm very close anyway. And all I have to look for is 3 on the right. So I find 3 on the right. And I keep in mind that I have this here. And once I'm finished, I'm just going to build a 5x1, insert it, and then do a U prime, and then bring it back in, and I'll already have one line on the outside finished. So I'm going to build this third one here. This here goes in here. And then this one here. Slice move. These two and this one. These two. What I could probably do is just make that chunk. Do the center one. And then the outer one. Now what I have to do is find this second layer, 5x1. It's not that bad, it's just this, and then the right one. Then we insert it, and bring it back. So we get a little head start. What I see first is this one, so I'll make that chunk first. Start by making the outer line. Get the middle one, and what I'm thinking of is I see, while I put this in, I think I have 4 on the left, I have 3 on the right, so I don't have to keep looking back at this. So I have 3 on the right here, and I'm going to have to look for 4 on the left somewhere, which is actually here, but that's a pain to get. still do it. Yeah, I see it here while I'm building it, so I'm probably gonna take it out and then put it back in. And then I see this, so I'm gonna build the second one. Slice. Do this one first, and look for, I can build this one at the same time as this one, but I can also get this chunk in. What I do is bring the fourth layer back, and then turn it once more, and then bring this third one in again. And then number 2 on the right. Here I got this chunk here, and I'm going to look for this 3. Build those 2 at the same time. And then I got this here. I can build the outer ones at the same time, like that. And I have 4 here. And I have 2, which are on the same line. So what we're going to do is this little move, and then bring them together. Now it's 3 centers left. Look ahead should be really easy at this point. I have this red here, I mean pink. Even though pink doesn't stand out as much, I'll do pink. Normally I'll do orange before this, but if I were going fast I probably would do orange. So for the sake of that, maybe I'd flip it over and do orange, but you know what, I'll do red anyway. I got this center I can easily do. So I do the center 5x1. I got this one I can complete. This one here, the outer one. And then this here, I'm going to look for, I can't find it. So I'm going to do is look for it down here. And I do find it here. So we're going to do this. And it's built. I'm going to insert. And I see this one while I'm making that. I'm going to look for that one. And I kind of changed my mind how I'm going to build it. So I'm going to build it along this here, and then finish it. Insert. I have this outer one that's nearly complete, so I'll do that one first, look for it, not find it, it's here, and then I'd probably take this number 2, second layer, 5x1 out. See a piece here that I can insert. I look for the rest here, it's here. I hope this isn't too hard to see. And now I see I can make this 4th one. And just do a simple insert, I got nothing really in there. Number 3. And then this corner is going to attach. I'm going to bring it together. So we have the whole first 5 layers first. And what I see first is this. Typically I look for the second layer and I work my way out. So I also see this chunk here. So I'd probably put the center in first. I see this chunk of 2 and this chunk of 2. I put that first. And then this outer one, and then number 4 on the right here. And probably what I do is preserve this outer one and just do a slice move insert, and then insert this. I could have saved this, but it's a little slower to do that, so I'm not doing that. I got the center one. I can put this back in, I'll take this away. And then this here, 3. And then insert. While I insert, I see this chunk here I can work with. So I start working with it. 1 and 4. How I take this out is probably bring it along this outside and then attach it. And I got the center one that I see too. Now I'm looking for 2 and 1. I see 2 here. And this one's here, which I can do R2. Now all I have is this line here. I got these 2 corner pieces there. Well, first I'm going to, I see this here and this here, which I can easily make both those at the same time like that. And I could do this, well, I can't do the same thing, but I can do this one here, and then this one's going to push out. And then I insert that right after. And I also got this one. So I'm going to make that almost finished. And here, a good idea would to be keep it here, and then make it easy double insert. Alright, so typically when I have orange and white, I like doing white, just because white's easier for me to see, even though it shouldn't matter. So we're going to do white first, and I'm going to try to preserve, I'm going to try to make the center line while preserving whatever I have. So I see that most I have is either this line here or this line, which I think 3 and 2 I can preserve. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this chunk of 3 on the outside here, and then I see this here that I can finish the center line with, and I see this 2 and 3 here I could probably finish, or I get close to finishing. So I think what I do here is work on number 2 and then bring in 3 to preserve it, and then see that I have the center left, which is, well, I guess it's along the same layer, so we got lucky. So insert like that, and what I'm going to do is, well, there's a couple things you could do. I could start working on that. I'll probably do that. I'll probably preserve 3 and then just insert 2 and then start working on this outer one. So what I can do to build a lot of this chunk is use this. And then I'm looking for this here. And I know I'm going to have the opposite one here, which is good. And then while inserting, actually I changed my mind since I have this here. I have the outer line I can build. This is going to go here, and this is going to go there. And I'll just have one more piece that I have to look for. So I'll just do a normal slice insert. I have it here. So we build the outer line. And while we insert this outer line, I'm going to take this third one out. And I have a chunk here that I could use, which is nice. So the third line's finished. And now I'm looking at, this is the next one I'm going to do, which is right here. And I have a lot of outer ones that I could use if I take them out. So I'll just insert that. And then what I'm going to do is take it out like that, attach that one, bringing this one down, attaching that one, and all I have is this, and I'm going to just insert it very easily. This is a tricky situation. It's kind of tempting to want to build the second one first. I might want to do that. Kind of depends how I feel. So I could do something like this, build that second line a little more, and then kind of almost make it. And I did build a lot of, well, I did preserve a lot of the third one while doing that. The problem is I can't do this piece easily. when I do something like that. However, I can do a little bit of that. So I got this here. I got nothing here. What you can do is something like that. Although this line's going to be flung over here, and you have only 2 left here, so I'm just going to insert this as is, and then start doing commutators on the 3rd line. And then probably do this one, and then this one here. Typically it's better to do 3 and then 2, but if you feel like you have an easy one that you can do, or easier, it wasn't really obvious in that case, then you just want to do work towards the outside. I've got the center one here that I can easily insert. This here, the outside. And while I insert this into the line, I know this is going to come out, and it's number 3, so I'm going to be putting that here. So we'll do commutator right here, and then we have one more. And I'm thirsty. So I'm doing the last few, excuse me, while I'm doing the last few moves of that commutator, I'm looking for, well, what's the easiest thing I start for the next edge? For me, typically, it's the blues or the greens. Typically the blues. So I see this blue and yellow chunk here. I also see this one here that I want to keep, so I'm probably going to insert it here, and I'll check for other places that it is while I'm start making it. So I got this one here, and I got nothing else. And what I'll do is take the center one out, because it's not oriented properly, flip it, and then I'll look for something else. So I got this one here, and this one here, and I want to flip this one. So what I'll do is bring this one in, and then I'm going to put this one in the back. And then I'll look for something else to put in this edge. So I know that's the middle one, and this is... Oh, I didn't take the right one. I'm sorry. I'll try again next time. So, for example, if you have this case again, where this is not oriented properly, but if you put this in, it will be, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to put this in the back at the same time. And we have a finished line. So basically the idea is to use these 3 other edges, put as much in those 3 edges as you can before you start building the edge up. And while you're doing that, you look for the next pieces to bring down. And so what I see first here is probably the pink blue. I have 3 here, so I'm going to bring one of those down, and I have this here too, so I'm going to bring it down so it's oriented properly, connect those 2 so I can use this one, bring this one down, and then bring this one down. And I know I have no more pink blue edges here, so I'm going to turn this whole thing like this. I got this one here, and I got that one there. So I'm going to take those down. I probably don't want to take this one out, so I'll move it into this edge. So I got number 2 here, I got number 4 here, I got number 1. I'm going to flip it back. I'm going to put 4 complete edges on one side, so I don't have to keep flipping the cube around. I'd say this is good, like, I use this even in 8x8, but 9x9 is kind of useful to use on 9x9 too. 9x9 and up. Okay, so the most I have here, the thing that catches my eye first is probably the blue-white or the blue-orange, but I'm probably not going to see the blue-orange because it's on the back, so I'll use the blue-white. But I will see this blue-orange when I turn to kind of insert this piece. So I'm going to take this blue-orange out, like this, and insert a blue-white. And then I'll just simply attach all the blue-white that I have, which is only 2. And I'm going to bring this blue-white back, and then insert right away, so I can take this out and replace it with something like this. And we're going to look for the rest of the pieces. So we got this one here, got this one here, and then simply attach them. And we do have this one flipped, so we're going to have to flip either this one or this one. Since I detached the blue-orange, it's probably best to do flip the blue-white edge. And then flip it back, and then put it somewhere up here. And immediately I see these 3 green yellows. So I'm probably going to take this one down, or either this one down. Probably do this one just because it's easier. And I see this one here. And I know I'm going to have one flipped, so I'm going to keep that in mind. And so here I'm going to look for something I can take out easily, which is probably this one, even though I saw this one first. This is a better case, where I can just insert in the back while taking this one in. And then put those together. And I have another flipped edge here, which I can't really take advantage of the algorithm. So I'm going to take this one out here while putting this one up, and then just put it back in on this edge. And then attach. Flip it over, finish this whole side. There's nothing really I can take advantage of here, so I'm just going to simply insert it without looking at what I have. I have 3 green oranges here, I have 2 here, 1 here. So I'm going to attach those first before I even look at anything up here. And then I'm going to start looking. So I have a green orange here. I have one I can insert in the back at the same time. I'll probably attach them first, and then I just have one left. So, and I notice I have a big blue-orange chunk there. So I'm going to try to preserve that. I have 2 here that I can bring down while putting this back up. So we're going to fix that center one, put that one in, put number 2 in, and then I have this one and this one, which I could just do a simple edge flip. Or I could do something like this. And then attach, and then I see this. You could do either the pink and white, or the green white. In this case, I'd probably do green white since I see this chunk. I have these 2, so take these 2 down. I got nothing here, I got 1 here, so I'm going to bring it into the empty space, attach, 2, 4, and then 3. And I've only got this one to flip, so I'm just going to do a simple edge flip, attach, and right away I see this white-orange, and I see a white-orange here. I actually see 2 of them, so I'm going to attach them. White-orange, 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 and I got nothing left to attach, so I'm going to look for something up here, which I do have 2. One's not oriented correctly, so I'm just going to put that there, and I notice I did miss this one. So I have this one and this one, so I'm going to flip at this edge and then attach. And I have a big pink yellow chunk. And I have this one oriented, so usually it doesn't matter how you, because there's going to be a lot that's oriented different ways, so it doesn't really matter how you bring it down. I got this one here, so I'm going to put this edge. And I already have 8 edges complete, and I'm making a 9th edge. Now, why am I making a 9th edge? well, I'm gonna make it complete. I'm gonna ignore all these slices that are misaligned. I'm gonna split it in half, well, 4/9, and I'm gonna flip this 4-piece chunk. I'm gonna start making, I have these two, this edge and this edge, that I can use to make another half edge here and another half edge here. So I'm going to look for the most complete one, and that's orange yellow, and I have these two orange yellow. So I'm going to put those together, place it above one of these empty edges here, and basically what I'm looking for is something I can flip at the same time. I have these two here and I have this one here, which is not the best case, so I'm going to probably do a simple edge flip with just take this out, put this here, either put this edge here or here, it doesn't matter, and then flip this out, and then put this edge so it's complete. And I have the center one too, which is not necessary, but I'm going to flip it into this spot. So now I have 1 half edge, 2 half edges, 3, and 4. So at the end of this, I'm going to have 2 edges complete, and I only have 2 left to make. So what I'm going to do is I have this whole thing empty, so I'm just going to fix it up, align it with the center, so I have 5 center slices fixed. And you can basically you can do the orange yellow facing you, or you can do the pink yellow facing you, or you can do either or. Actually, it doesn't matter where you go, but all you gotta do is to flip all 4 edges is a L prime, R, Q2, D2, L, R prime. And then you just gotta fix the center slices. So you notice that these are all on the top instead of the bottom. Fix those center slices. And then what we do here is I'm gonna do a big D2, and then we're going to face 2 different color edges in the front of us, and then do the same thing except without the D2, which is going to do an L prime, R, U2, L, R prime, and then another big D2. And we just have 2 left. So this is pretty obvious what you should do here. I got these 3 left, got this one here. I'm going to start by doing this 3rd one, edge flip, and then take these 2 and then insert them, edge flip. And then we have parity. And then 3x3. Nothing really to talk about here. But when you do 3x3 on big cubes, it is good to try to use as efficient as you can F2L. So if you see keyhole stuff, use it, because less moves equals faster. Three by 3 stage. And that's it. If you guys want me to do another one, I'll probably do one on bigger cubes too, because they involve a little more. Maybe the 15, maybe the 17, I don't know. Would the 17 be too long? Maybe 13, because that kind of does involve... 13 kind of does involve like a lot of things, and it's not quite as long, so I could do one on the 13, because it's relatively easy to handle. And it's just one more slice on the inside that you really have to do. So if you liked it, thumbs it up, and I'll do another maybe.